Hey, this is Dirk Nowitzki, and you're listening to the Mavs Step Back podcast.
A lot of times feel like I was on the road to nowhere. Tell me why all these people up in my face acting like I know them. Feeling like Luka Doncic, rookie of the year, I'm the coldest. God speaking through me every single track, prophet like Moses. Asking why I gotta wait till I'm dead to go and get my roses. Feeling like Mavs 2019, grinding unfocused. I used to go to bed at night discouraged, so hopeless. Went through the same pain, my friends chose drugs to cope with. Now reading all these hating comments, man, it got I'm emotional.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Step Back, a Mavs podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined by my MavsSI.com colleague, Matt Galatson. We got a good one for you guys tonight, but first, Matt, we need to talk about our guy, 6'6 Drew, and that new Luka Doncic track that he's coming out with. It's going to come out about a week before the Mavs season starts. As far as I know, I haven't seen anybody, make a song that's a tribute to Luka yet. So I'm really excited about it. You guys heard the little snippet at the beginning there. It's really, really good. The whole song is amazing. It's going to be on all the major platforms. But Matt, what's your thoughts on our guy 6'6 Drew, his new song there?
I mean, it seems like it's probably his best one yet, in my opinion. Yeah. I really like it a lot. Spoiler alert, I've never had my name spoken in a rap song before, so that's kind of cool.
You can't give any spoilers, Matt. They don't know that.
Well, they will soon. But it's a great track, and it seems like every month he's coming out with a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
The crazy thing is, he did this. This is just a single. This isn't a part of his upcoming album he's been working on for a while now. So as busy as he is, putting that together, he still took the time to formulate this and put it out there for Mavs fans. So really exciting stuff. I love how, the podcast listeners have really embraced Drew, and I really hope that, that continues going forward. I think everybody's going to love this. It's the first one that's going to be, on iTunes and Spotify, and instead of just being on Audio Mac or what's the other one, SoundCloud. So yeah. I think it's going to be really, really good. I think it's going to catch fire in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So really excited about it.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he record it, like write it and record it in like one night?
Yes, it took him one night.
Because I remember you were texting me, you were like, "Hey, Drew wants to put this thing together, but he wants to know if we want it first." And I was like, yeah. And then the next day you text me a link, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, well, see, he did it in one night, but I've been in his ear a little bit for a couple of months now, and I was like, he's gonna win rookie. Even before it was announced that Luka officially won Rookie of the Year, I was like, dude, he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. It's gonna be a big deal.
Oh wait, he did? I didn't know that.
He had a historic rookie season for an NBA player. First person to put up those kind of numbers since Oscar Robertson. And I was just like, you know what? If you want to do it, I'm encouraging you to do it, because if he didn't want to, I didn't want him to. But if he did, I knew he would do a great job with it. And, a lot of our fans and Mavs fans in general are going to love it. So, Drew, we're excited about it. Can't wait for you to release that thing. I hope everybody enjoyed the little preview of it. Follow him at Drew32 all day on Twitter. He's always, interacting with people and putting his new music on there, and just show him some love. Tell him how much you enjoy that snippet of his new song coming out, and when it is released, continue to show him some love, from here on out. So, Matt, we're going to just jump into a different topic here. Sports Illustrated, site we're now affiliated with, put out their top 100 players in the NBA. And the only players that were excluded from being, well, how should I put this? The only players that weren't included in this list are rookies. So no Zion, no RJ Barrett, no overhyping of those guys. But, we do have some issues with this list. Do you want to start on that?
I have so many unbelievably bad issues with this list. DeAndre Jordan is in the top 100. Get out of here with that. That is ridiculous. Andrew Wiggins is in the top 100.
By the skin of his teeth, Andrew Wiggins made it.
Literally number 100. There's some good ones on here. Like, I like how Spencer Dinwiddie got in and Karis LeVert got in. But, like, there's some other ones. Like, Andre Iguodala's all the way up at 86, and his legs are about to fall off.
We disagree a little bit there. We're going to talk a little bit more about Iggy a little bit later. But
Jaren Jackson Jr. and Marcus Smart are, like, way behind Ricky Rubio, who's all the way up at number 73, which, like, if we had told Mavs fans at any point over the summer that the Mavs were signing Ricky Rubio, they'd be like, no! And he's apparently better than, like, PJ Tucker and Lauri Markkanen and Sabonis and Montrezl Harrell and, like, all these other people. It's like, no.
Can I make a quick point about Iguodala?
I guess.
When we heard that the Mavs and the Grizz were, discussing a Iguodala trade, some people were like, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I'm pretty sure you were one of those people, where me, on the other hand, I would have been, pretty excited if it had gone down. But how funny would it be if they did end up with Iguodala and he got put number 86 on this list, and then you scroll up a little bit and Danny Green's at 89.
Okay, here's what would happen. If the Mavs traded for him, he would immediately drop out of the top 100.
Well, you're right there. I agree with that. It's kind of like it's kind of like when players go to the Mavs and the next 2K is released, their rating goes down a little bit. But if they go to the Lakers, they get a 10-point spike.
Exactly. Ricky Rubio and Harrison Barnes are 72 and 73, which is just LOL. I'm just scrolling down the list some more. I like where Robert Covington is. Trae Young's all the way down at 62, which I think is hilarious.
I think that's. Look, Trae, for a second-year player, that's not bad. But the defense. You knew he wasn't gonna be too high because of how historically bad on the defensive end he was.
Well, okay. Klay Thompson's number 58. Is he even going to play this year?
Probably not, but...
So then why is he in the top 100? Kevin Durant's not.
Is Kevin Durant really not on it?
I didn't see him in my first scroll through.
I'm scrolling through it now. We'll find out, but... I'm fine with...
Yeah, Durant's not in it.
I'm fine with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson has more of a chance of coming back this season than KD does. KD, he's not coming back this next season.
Okay, but even if he does come back, when he's healthy enough to come back, he's not all the way down at 58.
Well,
he's not. He's not below Otto Porter.
Well, fine. You can die on that hill, but I think it's fine given the circumstances. But I do. If
he either shouldn't be on it or he should be in the top 15.
Tobias Harris is number 49. He's in the top 50.
Well,
you can see that.
A bunch of dumb Mavs fans were saying they wouldn't want him either. I get it for the money, but he's a really good player.
And when you get down into the top 40, it gets really interesting because Kristaps Porzingis, they put him at number 37. And I think we've talked about this. I think we're both in agreement. That's a pretty, generous spot for him. For a guy that hasn't played basketball in, a year and a half now?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. That's pretty generous, and it shows you, how highly people still think of Porzingis. So, and I'm sure his social media posts have, affected this list a little bit. People seeing,
Yeah, maybe.
people seeing how he
I
looks like
mean-
he's in. Is it Rocky 3?
Rocky 4. God,
Well,
Dalton, you're the
I
worst.
haven't watched it in forever, Matt. But he definitely looks like Drago.
It's the best Rocky movie.
But
and I don't count Creed in those movies, but yes.
well, that's a fair spot for Porzingis. I feel like by the time we get to Christmas, if he is staying relatively healthy and he hasn't sat out a ton of games or whatever, I really feel like there's potential for both him and Luka to creep into that top 25.
Yeah, it's possible.
Which, by the way, Luka is 7 spots up from or down from Porzingis at number 30. So, second-year player already being considered a top 30 player in the league.
32 spots above Trae Young, which is delicious. Another big problem I have is Donovan Mitchell above Luka at number 29. Let's see. Chris Middleton seems really high.
I feel like the Mitchell thing is more of like they almost felt obligated to put Mitchell at least 1 spot ahead of Luka just because he's been to the playoffs a few times now.
Get out of here with that.
Huh?
Get out of here with that. He's not better than Luka. He's not better than DeMar DeRozan. He's not better than CJ McCollum.
Speaking of Donovan,
he's not better than De'Aaron Fox.
I know I keep adding in these random references here, but speaking of Donovan Mitchell, did you see our new large son Boban just completely demolish him earlier?
Yeah, that should have dropped him 15 spots on this list alone. He got eaten alive.
No, he shouldn't have dropped just because of that. Boban's awesome.
Okay, well, I'm not going off on a Boban tangent.
Just go to MavsSI.com and read my piece on Boban that I put out this week. He's going to be a difference maker. He's just going to be a #limited difference maker.
Hashtag teamwork.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal is way too low on this list too. 22.
I absolutely agree.
That's too low.
He's a top 20 player for sure.
Draymond's too high. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He's too high. 17 is way too high.
I like where they have Drew Holiday. Top 25 for Drew Holiday. They put some respect on his name, and I really like that.
We got Kyrie all the way down at 15, which, okay, but, like, Gobert is at 14. Like, so people need to make up their minds. This is why I have a big problem with Gobert. People need to make up their minds. Either A, centers don't matter anymore because three-point shooting and blah, 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 blah. Or B, centers are still important and can take over a game. And you still need to have them around.
Well,
there's no in between apparently anymore, which drives me crazy because it's like okay, I think Gobert is fine. I don't think he's a top 15 player. I think he's fine. But there are other people who say, "Oh, you can't even have him on the floor." It's like that's bullshit. He's a defensive player of the year.
We've kind of skimmed through the entire list as we go. Let's look at the top 5 here, and I want to see if you have any issues with how they constructed the top 5. Number 1, they put Giannis. Number 2, they put Kawhi Leonard. Number 3, LeBron James. Number 4, Steph Curry. And number 5, James Harden. Do you agree with that list?
I don't. Shockingly.
What would you change about that list? I feel like it's pretty accurate.
I think the top 5 players in the NBA heading into next season in order are Kawhi, Giannis, Steph Curry, James Harden, LeBron.
Okay, you're you swayed me except for the top player. I think Giannis is the best player. I don't know, man. If he can just even get something even close to a respectable 3-point shot, it's just over. Like even as good as Kawhi is, like he's not going to be able to match up with something like that. So I mean, I really like.
I don't know, man. Kawhi's the Terminator.
I mean, Kawhi's good. Here's what I would put Giannis 1A, and I would put Kawhi 1B. I mean, I think they're kind of equal there, but I like Giannis at 1. But I do agree with moving LeBron down to number 5. I do agree with that.
He's just like, I have nothing but respect for LeBron.
Oh, he's a beast, dude.
Well, that's not
He's
true.
Gonna play until he's 40, and he's still gonna put up at least like 18 points a game.
But I don't think he's a top 5 player anymore. Is he awesome and amazing? Yes.
I think he's a top 5.
Is he a top 10 player? For sure. If he is in the top 5, I don't know that he's better than Anthony Davis. But if he is in the top 5, then he's number 5.
Well, he got injured last year. He ended up sitting out, the last third of the season, I think. And then, he's rested all summer, didn't make the playoffs, had extra time off. I really think he's going to have a resurgent year. And I think he still has that ability to be in that top 5 spot. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, stuff LeBron's done in the past, especially when it comes to the Mavs, I haven't liked it. But, since those finals in 2011, he's shown a lot of respect for Dirk. He really seems to like Luka. I mean, I don't have anything personal against LeBron anymore. So, but just going off his abilities and not my personal feelings, I mean, he's definitely in the top 5 to me.
Well, I'm just going to say, like I said before, if he's in the top 5, he's number 5. He's not top 3 anymore. He's right up there in the GOAT conversation with Michael Jordan. I really couldn't argue against him being considered the greatest player ever. But he's 35. He's been injured a lot this last year, and I just don't think he's the same player he used to be.
Well, maybe so, but a player in that top 5, Steph Curry, he's really going to have a chance to prove. Like, if anybody has any doubt whatsoever that Steph shouldn't be top 3, which is, he's 3rd on this list. Like, he's
4th.
Is he 4th? Who's 3rd?
LeBron is on the list, is 3rd on the list, but I just don't think he should be.
I'm all over the place. I moved LeBron down though, but I think Steph should be 3rd, and he has a chance to really prove like just how dominant he is this year because Klay's out, KD left. He's basically just going to be depending on Draymond and D'Angelo Russell. So.
I mean, good luck, man.
he might just go out there and average 40 points a game. I think he could. I don't know if they'll play him, the absurd amount of minutes to make that possible, but I think if Steph Curry went into a season thinking, I want to average 40 points a game, he's one of the few players that could accomplish it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just can't stress enough how happy I'm going to be that it's 2 different teams in the finals this year.
Oh, I know. Wide open. I love the parity, man. And it makes it, for teams like the Mavs that haven't made the playoffs in 3 seasons now, and, they made the big trade. They got Porzingis. He seems to be like he's 100% healthy for the first time in forever. Luka's coming off a historic rookie season, going in, he's looking to make a second year leap. Having that parity in the league makes it that much more exciting for a team like the Mavs who are looking to, jump into the playoffs for the first time in a while. And then you get to thinking about the parity, and it's like, okay, well, let's just get in, and then let's see what can happen. So it's really exciting for guys like us.
I agree. I'm excited to see, what the league's going to end up looking like next year with all these different players everywhere. It's going to be really exciting season. It's only 4 weeks until preseason?
Yeah. Yep. Only 4 weeks away from preseason. Let's see. Today was the 12th, so we are about 2.5 weeks away from media day and then training camp opening. So I mean, it's coming up fast.
Yeah. Once NBA and NFL and college football are all going at the same time, I'm going to have absolutely no life, but it's going to be worth it.
It's the best sports time of the year.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be working my ass off, but it's going to be worth it because I love doing it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, look, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to come back and talk about the Mavs doing some team bonding in Miami. We're going to talk about the Grizz refusing to buy out Andre Iguodala. And we're going to talk about KP's potential load management this season and how it could affect the Mavs' playoff hopes. So stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. We're going to jump right into talking about the Mavs. And, you know, Matt, a couple of these guys, I reported on Twitter the other day that all these guys were going down to Miami for some team bonding and some pre-camp training. Not all of the Mavs are there, but, you know, they posted a team picture earlier today of, you know, their dinner they had last night. And we know Luka's there, KP, Justin Jackson, DeLon Wright, Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Roby, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so. Did you say Justin Jackson?
Yeah, I said Justin.
Yeah,
so,
I think you got everybody.
And, I mean, obviously, Boban, he can't be there because he's busy dominating in the World Cup right now. Maxi Kleba, he might not, you know, be able to make it in time. This is only like a 3-day thing.
Was he not? I guess Germany didn't make the World Cup, did they?
No, but I don't think he's back yet either, though. But this is only a 3-day thing because obviously Luka's going to be playing in Dirk's celebrity tennis competition. That's this weekend, is it not?
Yeah, I can't go though.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get to see Dirk play tennis. We get to see how good Luka is at tennis, and I mean, I'm sure he's at least decent. So, this is just a short get together. The guys are trying to bond as a team. They're trying to, you know, get used to each other, establish some chemistry. You really like to see stuff like this when training camp technically doesn't start for another 2.5 weeks. It's not mandatory. The guys just got together and said, you know what, let's do this. And it can only help the team start the season off on a good note. So you love to see that. Ryan Brokoff, he had a newborn son not too long ago. He's still at home enjoying family time with him and his wife. Seth Curry, if you read my piece on MavsSI.com, he's getting married this weekend. So obviously he's not going to be in attendance. And Matt, did you know, surely you heard this at some point in the past, but Seth Curry, he's marrying Doc Rivers' daughter. Did you know that?
I did not know Doc Rivers had a child.
Well, see, I knew...
What's the guy's name?
What?
Austin Rivers. He's a forgettable player. What could I say?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. He said he didn't have a child and one's playing in the NBA. But anyway, I did see something a while back, you know, saying that Seth Curry was dating his daughter, but I had no... It shocked me when it's like, okay, he's getting married this weekend. I was like, you know what? Good for him. Good for him. So he's probably not going to report to the Mavs until right up until training camp, but I mean, he has a very good reason for doing that. But what's your initial thoughts on this? I mean, you can't help but feel good about the guys getting together like this before they actually have to.
Well, I'd like to point out in the picture that I think it's hilarious that Luka is quote unquote drinking a soda.
Right. I saw somebody say that he just switched drinks with DeLon Wright. You know, DeLon Wright has a glass of wine, and they were saying, yeah, he just switched. He switched drinks.
Luka doesn't strike me as a wine guy. I mean,
you're probably right.
Personally, I think he's a beer guy, judging on other pictures that we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely don't think that by the huge amount of Coronas we saw in his fridge last season.
Lasco, maybe it's a Slovenian beer. Who knows? But in all seriousness, I think it's great that they're doing that. I don't know why they chose Miami because it's just the worst.
I mean, you got it. I mean, my sister used to do competitive cheer, and so every so often I was forced to go to these big cheer competitions. And one year it was in Miami on 4th of July, and it was the worst for me because it just so happened to be July of 2015. So I was my Miami experience was ruined by DeAndre Jordan.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
But other than that, I mean, I had a really good experience down there. It was a lot of fun.
Well, it's just not my scene, personally.
It's not mine either, but it was different. I mean, I wouldn't go back, but I did have fun while I was there.
Yeah, I mean, there's cooler places they could have gone, I think. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a really good deal. Especially since it's a good portion of the new guys, like Dalton and KP. So, the only thing that could go wrong is if somebody jumps KP again, but this time it's in the United States. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to have fun, and they're just, drinking and eating and having a good time together.
Obviously, that can be a serious type of thing, but we have joked a little bit about, the reason Porzingis got so jacked this summer is to make sure that he doesn't get jumped again, like he was at like he was at that Slovenian bar. So, I mean, I really don't see anybody jumping KP at this point. And
Latvian bar, sir.
And with talking to a couple people with the Mavs here recently, I've been trying to, because I haven't seen him in person, and we've seen a bunch of pictures and everything. So I've just kind of asked, like, hey, is this legit? Like, is he just finding good angles and everything? And everybody says he is legitimately bigger. And, I mean, it's really exciting to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what he looks like, on the court, or at least during media day when they're wearing their uniforms.
Everybody.
I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, but I heard Jason Gallagher talking about this on our friend Kirk Henderson's podcast. There's ways that you can make a person look more buff than they actually are.
With pictures.
Yeah, with like lighting and different kinds of... anyway, point being, it didn't look like they were using any Photoshop or lighting or anything like that. I know he was like in the middle of flexing and, lifting the weights or whatever, but I'm pretty excited, man. He looks like he's put on some serious muscle, and that can only help him with his injury problems, and he obviously has strengthened his core a little bit, which is probably the most important part. So
that's very, very key to avoiding future injuries. If your core, if you take care of your core, then chances are, you're going to have a lot more success in preventing irritating injuries. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. That's how LeBron has been able to avoid having a bunch of injuries throughout his career.
Yeah, and he's also trying to, copyright or trademark or whatever, Taco Tuesday. Shut up, LeBron. You didn't invent Taco Tuesday. It's been a thing for forever.
That is extremely random, but I do agree. That was the dumbest. How you can't copyright. He really thought he came up with Taco Tuesday just because he put dumb videos out on social media. But anyway.
I hate LeBron so much.
But look, you can if not even the flexing picture, like you can look at the one he recently posted about. He said Dallas is dope, and he's standing in front of his really nice car. It might be a Ferrari. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but even stuff.
Dalton stalking KP's Instagram.
Not stalking. Everybody follows KP on Instagram.
I'm just saying. You're looking at it right now.
I'm not. I'm actually not. But good try. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, even if you're looking at that, it's just like, man, this isn't the same super skinny stick for arms kid that was in New York. I mean, he really has put in the work. He hasn't played in forever, so he's just itching to get back out there and prove what he can do. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really excited about it. And, just kind of transitioning into this next topic, I mean, the roster as it is right now, at this point, I'm going to say it's very likely that it stays like this as the season starts. But you never know. I mean, Shams reported that the Memphis Grizzlies are refusing to buy out Iguodala, which, I mean, that's not shocking at all. He's making $17 million. So, I mean, who wants to eat that much money? I could see why they bought out Dwight Howard, because I think his was like $5 million. But, I mean, $17 million. They're not going to just buy out Iguodala and eat that money, or the majority of that money, so he can go join a contender. So, if he leaves Memphis, it's more than likely going to be a trade. And I'm confident in saying that Courtney Lee and second-round pick package is still on the table for the Mavs. I think they would still execute that trade.
But Dalton, he's the 86th best player in basketball.
Well, they missed out on the number 89 best player in basketball, so that would be great. They made the mistake of trusting the 89th player in basketball's podcast host and ended up missing out on him, so maybe they can trade for a guy that's 3 spots up.
Yeah, that's true.
I just
don't
see how Iguodala could be a negative for this Mavs roster.
It can't be a negative if he's either sliding into starting position where we think Justin Jackson's going to be and playing 25 to 30 minutes a game. Or
I don't think he's capable of doing that.
Then he's not the 86th best player in basketball. Okay.
Probably right.
Moving forward. Yes, I am right. I'm always right. You need to learn this.
Now you're just starting to sound like Kirk.
Yeah, well, I'm right more often than Kirk. But anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted.
Yeah, you know me.
Either he slides into the starting lineup, or he slides into the 5-man rotation on the bench and knocks out Dorian, which I would also be fine with. I'm fine with it either way. It doesn't excite me.
Well, see,
it's not something that's going to make the difference to me in making the playoffs or not.
Well, it's like, and I'm pretty sure I said this on whichever pod it was we talked about Iguodala last, but Iguodala is one of those players that you call a 16-game player. So, once you make it to the playoffs, he becomes a really good asset. And, I mean, I really like Dorian Finney-Smith. And I think, he brings a lot of energy off the bench, and he's really good at those offensive tip-ins and a good defender. But if you're in the playoffs, I mean, I have a lot more confidence in Andre Iguodala for 16 games than I do in Dorian Finney-Smith. And that's not a knock on Finney-Smith. That's just, for one season at least, because he might, Iguodala might retire after this year. But for one season, I would go with Iguodala.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Okay, here's the thing. And there were people who wanted like Iguodala over Dragic or Iguodala over player C, whatever. But okay, if Dragic came in and the reason they went to Miami was because they wanted to convince him to demand whatever.
I honestly cannot believe we are talking about Dragic right now.
I'm just saying, if he was a Maverick, he would automatically be the third best player on the Mavericks. If Andre Iguodala came in, I'm just saying, if Andre Iguodala comes in, he's still not a top 5 player on the Mavericks.
Well, that's fine though. I mean, I think that's fine. It just depends.
That's why it doesn't excite me.
it really just depends on what you consider being a top 5 player. According to Sports Illustrated, he would, be our third best player. since Luka and KP are the only Mavs in the top 100. So,
I disagree, but it would be fine. It would make them a better team. I just don't know if it would make a real difference in anything important.
And like I said, I really don't think the roster changes at this point. If it does, fine. But I think we're kind of set. And then, depending on where the Mavs' record is towards the trade deadline, if Iguodala is still in Memphis and, he's still available, maybe the Mavs decide to make a move depending on where they're at. Or, maybe they decide to make a move for somebody else if someone becomes available that they like. So, but for the start of the season, I think they're going to roll with the guys they have, and they're going to continue to build this chemistry and just really see what they've got in-house first. But
yeah, he's a trade deadline guy, so we'll probably be talking about him again in February.
Yeah, and that's the only time where Memphis is actually going to get some decent trade offers for him too, because nobody's going to give up a lot for a guy that was traded to Memphis along with a pick. The Golden State Warriors had to give up a pick just to send him to Memphis. So, but anyway, Matt, last topic here, and then we're going to head out. This season, there's a lot of factors that are going to, determine whether the Mavs are a playoff team or not. But the top one, in my opinion, is how many games KP ends up missing due to his load management. And we know it's coming. We know in some way, in some form, it's going to be there. We just don't know exactly how many games he's going to miss because of that. So my question to you is, what do you see for KP? Like, how many games is he going to miss this season? And how is that going to affect, the Mavs record?
Well, it's difficult to say an exact number. We know that he's going to be reintroduced. I don't want to say slowly, but they're not just going to throw him in for 40 minutes and see how he does.
Right.
They're going to take it easy with him at first and see how he adjusts, and then gradually let him play more. I think Kawhi might be a good barometer for this. He played 60 games last year. Averaged about, I think it was 33, 34 minutes a game. So I think it'll be right in there. Probably less for KP, probably closer to 28 to 30 minutes a game. But I think he'll play about 60 games. Obviously, I think Kawhi started off last year injured, didn't he, or something to that effect?
The difference,
he had some sort of injury at some point.
I like that comparison a little bit. I don't necessarily agree that he's going to miss as many games as Kawhi did, just because KP has had a lot more downtime than what Kawhi did. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be somewhere in that 12 to 15 game range. And I think it'll be more towards the first half of the season where they're more cautious. And then after they see, like, okay, this guy's good, then it won't be, as much. Maybe every other back-to-back or something like that he'll sit. But
I'm just saying, given his history, if he makes it to 60 games, we should be doing backflips.
Well, I really think he's going to play at least 65 games.
Somewhere between 60 and 65 sounds like a good number. And obviously it depends on what their record is and how, their playoff position and all that stuff.
Well, and like I said, we got to trust this training staff too. Casey Smith and those guys, they're the best in the business, and they'll be able to tell early on if they're pushing him too much, or if they need to lighten up, or if they can loosen the reins a little bit. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think,
if Dirk can play 51, I guess KP can play 65.
Right. Right, and like I said, he's had a lot more downtime than, your average NBA star coming off of a big injury. So I really think that he's going to be okay. But, I mean, I don't know. I think for the Mavs to make the playoffs, I think he's going to have to hit that 65 mark. If it gets to 60 or under 60, it's going to be really, really tough for this team to make playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but I have them right on the cusp at, fighting for the 8th spot, so...
I think he'll play 65, and I think the Mavs will end up making the playoffs as, the 7th seed. That's...
I think my point is you don't risk playing him too much just so you can make the playoffs.
Oh, no, I'm not saying...
You're not there yet.
I'm not saying push him. I'm just saying I think he's going to show them that he's okay to where he can play that many games. I don't think they're going to force him to play that many. I feel like he's at a point now and he's stronger. He's been able to rehab the right way. I don't think he's going to have as many issues. He's going to have to knock off the rust at the beginning of the season, but then after that, he's going to be good. And I think the Mavs end up winning, like I predicted a few episodes ago, about 45 games. So we'll see how it goes. I think they win 45 games, and I think they make the playoffs as the 7th seed. And hey, let the good times roll.
Yeah, you're a little bit more optimistic than I am. I'm playing it a little bit more conservatively, I guess. But
you're afraid.
We'll see what happens.
You're afraid to get hurt. I get it.
Yes, Dalton. I've been hurt before, and I'm not ready to do it again.
Well,
there's been 3 straight years of hurt.
Well, just before we leave it, what about the Cowboys? Are you ready to get hurt by the Cowboys after seeing what they did in Game 1? Are you more optimistic about them?
No, I think they're gonna cruise. They're gonna go 12-4, 13-3, and make the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots.
Okay, so Matt is the Dalton of Cowboys.
No, I predicted them to go 6-10 last year. But I mean, I don't want to go on a whole Cowboys tangent. You should go on Best Coast Boys for that. I'm just saying, I'm really impressed with what I saw in Week 1, even though it was against the Giants. And
it was nice.
I have sky high confidence about this team.
Look, as a guy that is, disappointed a lot by Southern Miss, their football team has been okay the last few years. They're 500 or a little over 500. But as a guy that's been really frustrated in seeing, questionable play calls and really conservative offense, it was good to see one of my football teams look completely the opposite of that last Sunday. So I'm really excited about Kellen Moore. But anyway, that's your 1 minute of cowboy talk on a Mavs podcast.
Yeah, I'm an Ole Miss football fan, so I know what that feels like also, and it's just really nice to be a fan of a good football team for the first time in 5 years.
Absolutely. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of The Step Back. We appreciate you coming in every week and supporting us, and we appreciate your patience as we took last week off. We're going to have some good content for y'all before the season starts, but we're really excited to get the season started, and everybody's going to be excited, and I'm sure we're going to end up gaining a few new listeners as well. So tell your friends to go and subscribe on their favorite podcast platforms. And guys, we're still running our season opener ticket giveaway. Mavs playing the Wizards at home. All you have to do is go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Well, first subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and then leave us a review. Put your Instagram or Twitter in that review, and then you'll be entered into a random drawing that we will be doing live on Twitter 2 weeks before the season opening game. So be sure to do that. Again, we appreciate y'all coming in and listening to us. Y'all have a great weekend.
But my boy still living the past. Now you got my boy Kristaps looking like Duncan Nash in the gap. They just want a ring, want to fit a gap on your team head. I ain't talking hats, dang, I'm relaxed. Still at the champ, defense still coming with the clown. Best flow, the master best on the flow. I'm wild, but yeah, I'm the GOAT. This game get cold. Yeah, you might need a coach and friends turn into your foe. But I'ma just roll. Gotta keep rolling your boat. Yeah, I swear I give them hope. I say I'm cleaner than the soap. This time of year proves who will really sink or float. For yeah, real. It's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, get tragic. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, get tragic. You know, in this game, it's a lot of grit. You know what I'm saying? Proves who has integrity. Late nights, early mornings, but we all want the trophy at the end of the day. And that's the beauty of this game, because at the end of the day, only the real gonna float, man, for real. You either sink or you float. Only the real gonna float.